My husband, who only eats when the lights are off, wasn't at the dining table. The moment I turned the lights on, the kerosene lamp flickered in the corner of our small living room. Crickets sang outside, and the smell of roasted cassava drifted through the window from Mama Pendo's kitchen. I stood by the table, staring at the empty plates. The food I had served barely 10 minutes ago. Gone. Completely gone. And yet, there was no sign of my husband, Okwonga. I whispered to myself, "Ha! Maybe this man is now a magician." Then I saw it. Something long and slimy sliding across the table like an overfed worm. My eyes widened, and before I could think twice, I screamed, "Jesus of Nazareth! What is that?" The thing vanished. I staggered back, my wrapper half loose, heart pounding like drums in a political rally. Just then, Okwonga walked calmly from the kitchen, wiping his mouth with a small towel as if he had been washing his face. "You look scared," he said softly, smiling like a man caught stealing sugar but pretending to be holy. "What happened?" "What happened?" I shouted. "You're asking me what happened?" "You—" I pointed at him with trembling fingers. "You were here eating in the dark. Then the moment I turned the light on, you vanished. Only God knows what I saw crawling on this table." He looked at me blankly, then laughed lightly. "Ah, Nora, you've started again. Always imagining things." "Imagining? Me? So this food disappeared by imagination too?" He shrugged, walked to the table, and bent down like a detective searching for clues. "Where is it then?" "Show me." I turned to point, but the table was spotless. Not even a grain of rice. My eyes darted everywhere. The floor, the chair, the kitchen door. Nothing. Maybe it jumped away," I mumbled, scratching my head. Okwonga chuckled. "Jumped away? So now your stew can jump?" "Don't mock me," I shouted, slapping the air. "I know what I saw. Something crawled on this table like a lizard that failed its mission." He moved closer. "Honey, relax." "You're tired." The food was good, so I finished it quickly and washed the plate. "You see?" He lifted the basin. True enough, the plate was there, washed clean, shining as if angels had helped him. I frowned. "So you ate in the dark again?" He rubbed his neck. "Ah, yes, but not because I wanted to. The light just disturbs my appetite. Simple." "Then eat with your eyes closed," I snapped. "This is not normal." That night was full of thunder, mosquitoes, and quarrels. If the devil himself was passing by, he would have sat down to watch our drama. "Okwonga, let's talk truth for once," I said, arms akimbo. "Why can't you eat with light? Even candlelight you fear?" He sighed. "It's not fear, Nora. It's preference, like how you don't like salt in tea." "Don't use my tea to defend nonsense. Salt in tea and darkness in food are not the same thing." He looked annoyed. "You're shouting for nothing." "Are you my mother?" I gasped dramatically. "Ah! God of Abraham, did you just call me your mother, so I gave birth to you now?" He scratched his head. "I said you're acting like her, always nagging." Hey, you've said it. So I'm a nag now." I clapped my hands and began pacing. "When you wanted to marry me, you said, 'Nora, you're my peace, my sunshine. Now I'm your thunderstorm.'" He burst out laughing, which only made me angrier. "Stop laughing like a village madman." He leaned on the chair, pretending to look innocent. "Honey, peace begins when a woman stops shouting. Then peace will never begin in this house until you explain why you vanish in darkness." He stood up sharply. "I'm not vanishing. You just don't understand men." "Oh, please. The only thing I understand is lies. You're lying, Okwonga, and you're doing it confidently like it's your job." The next morning, I was still frowning while frying eggs. Every time he tried to talk, I hissed louder than the oil. He said, "You'll burn the eggs." I replied, "I'll burn the whole kitchen before I burn my peace." He kept quiet, then said softly, "I love you." I turned sharply. "You love me, but you eat in the dark?" You love me, but when I call you, you disappear? You love me, but your friend knows secrets I don't? He blinked. My friend? Which friend? Mr. Wendo, I said, throwing the spatula like a judge passing sentence. I told him everything last night. What? He stood up so fast his chair fell. You told Wendo? Yes. He said he'll come tonight to confirm what's happening. Okwonga ran his hand through his hair, pacing up and down like a man whose secret cupboard had just opened. You shouldn't have told him anything. Why not? He's your friend. He turned sharply, voice low. Not everything that shines is gold. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Just don't involve outsiders in our home? I rolled my eyes. Outsiders? The man who comes to our house every day to borrow salt is now outsider? He hissed. If he borrows salt, it doesn't make him family. That evening, I met Wendo near the banana trees, where everyone hangs clothes. I told him the same story, how my husband disappears in the dark, eats alone, and behaves like someone possessed by beans. Wendo's face changed immediately. That's strange. I've known Okwonga for years. I can't believe this. He looked left and right, then whispered, You know what? Tonight when he eats, text me. I'll come over quietly. If it's true, we must act. Maybe call your family elders. I nodded, grateful. Thank you, Wendo. He smiled faintly. Just stay strong. Little did I know this man was more dangerous than hunger after fasting. That night I returned from the market early. My head was aching, so I rested on the sofa. I heard footsteps, Okwonga's, rushing back to pick something he forgot. Then a knock. Wendo, what are you doing here? My husband asked outside. I wanted to talk before your wife comes, Wendo replied. I froze. They didn't know I was home. I tiptoed to the window like a cat investigating its owner's lies. I told you, Wendo whispered. I don't trust your wife. She's suspecting too much. My heart pounded. Okwonga said, She told you everything? Yes, this morning. She's clever. She saw something. There was a long pause. Then Wendo leaned closer and whispered, Do the needful before it's too late. I pressed my mouth shut to stop from gasping. She's carrying my child, Okwonga said softly. Wendo's voice hardened. So what are you waiting for? At that moment, I couldn't breathe. My vision blurred. Then before I realized it, I shouted, Oh my God! Both men turned slowly toward the window. I ducked, heart racing, breathing like a chased goat. Seconds later, the door flew open. Okwonga entered, his face pale but pretending to smile. Ah, honey, you're home? He said, voice shaky. I pointed at him. What did you mean by do the needful? And what's this nonsense about me carrying your child? He blinked. Ah. You heard that? We were talking about farming. Farming! You said, she's carrying my child. What kind of farm grows children? He scratched his head. It's a code between men. Code my foot! I shouted, throwing a pillow at him. You and your friend are hiding something. Just then, Wendo entered, trying to laugh. Ah, Nora, you misunderstood us. Then explain. Okwonga glared at Wendo as if saying, Don't you dare! Wendo stammered. We were planning a surprise. Yes, for you. I folded my arms. A surprise? At night? Whispering about doing the needful? He nodded quickly. It's a baby shower surprise. But I'm not even pregnant. They looked at each other awkwardly. Wendo whispered, that's why it's a surprise, I shouted. You two need prayers. By morning, the entire village knew our story. I didn't know who spread it, but the women at the borehole were already calling me Mrs. Darkness and Light. Hey, Nora, one shouted as I fetched water. I heard your husband only eats in the dark. Does he also bathe in the dark? The others laughed like hyenas, I hissed. You people should face your buckets, Mama Tendo said. Don't mind them. But truly, have you checked if maybe he's allergic to light? I snapped. Allergic to light? So my husband is now vampire? That evening, Pastor Oriam came to our house. He said calmly, "Brother Okwonga, what is this I hear about you refusing to eat in the light?" Okwonga smiled like an angel. "Pastor, people just exaggerate. I prefer darkness because it's peaceful. Even the Bible says Jesus prayed in solitude." The pastor nodded. "But he didn't eat in solitude." I nearly clapped. "Thank you, Pastor." "Tell him." But Okwonga quickly replied, "Yes, but the Lord also said man shall not live by bread alone. So light or no light, as long as I eat, it's fine." The pastor blinked. "Ah, that's not what it means." I shouted, "This man twists scripture like he twists his lies." That night, I decided enough was enough. I would keep the lights on by force. I locked the switch box so he couldn't turn them off. When food was ready, I said, "Eat." He looked nervous. "Ah, maybe later." "Eat!" I shouted. He hesitated, picked the spoon, and slowly raised it toward his mouth. Just then, poof! The bulb burst and darkness filled the room. I screamed. "Jesus!" "Again?" Okwonga's voice came from the dark. "Ah, maybe it's electricity problem." "Don't lie," I shouted. "You did this." "Me? How can I burst a bulb with my hands?" I stumbled toward him, trying to find the lamp. When I finally lit it, he was gone. I looked around. "Okwonga!" "Okwonga!" The window curtain moved slightly. I rushed to check, and there he was, outside, wiping his mouth. "Where were you?" I yelled. He looked shocked. I went to check the fuse." "Fuse? So you eat through the window now?" he stammered. No, just fresh air." "Fresh air or fried fish?" "Tell me before I lose my salvation." He laughed nervously. "Honey, you worry too much." The next morning, I followed him secretly. He said he was going to work, but instead he met Wendo under the mango tree. I hid behind a bush, listening. Wendo said, "It's getting dangerous." "She's beginning to suspect everything," Okwonga replied. "I'll manage her. Tonight I'll tell her I'm fasting." Wendo nodded. "Good. Remember the condition. No eating with light or you'll expose us both." I gasped. "Expose you both? For what?" I nearly fainted. I wanted to scream but bit my tongue. I ran home quietly. That night, when he came in smiling, I was ready. He dropped his bag, whistling. "Honey, I'm home." I said, "Sit down." He froze. "Why? What happened?" I folded my arms. "You've been lying to me." He looked innocent. "Me? How?" "You said you go to work, but you meet Wendo under mango tree." He laughed nervously. "Ah, that's still work, a mango business." "Mango business? You sell lies now?" I slammed the table. "Tell me the truth or I'll call your mother." He sighed. Okay, I'll tell you." I leaned closer. "Finally." He paused dramatically. "The truth is, I'm part of a group." I gasped. "A cult?" "No!" he shouted. "A group of men who eat secretly because their wives cook too salty." I blinked, speechless. "So you created an underground eating association?" He nodded proudly. "We call it the Brotherhood of Taste." I burst out laughing and crying at the same time. "You mean all this drama was because you fear salt?" He shrugged. "And a bit of light." "Why light?" He sighed. "Because when I see food clearly, I lose appetite." "It's psychological." I clutched my head. "Lord, deliver me from foolishness." By the end of that week, Wendo had been exposed too. His wife caught him sneaking into our kitchen at night to assist my husband with darkness rituals. The whole village gathered to watch as I chased both men with a broom, shouting, "Eat in light today or die hungry." Okwonga ran, shouting, "I'm sorry, honey." It was peer pressure. "Peer pressure my foot," I shouted. "Next time you marry darkness itself." He tripped and fell into a water drum. The crowd burst out laughing. Even I couldn't hold it anymore. As he sat there dripping wet, I said, "So, are you ready to eat in light now?" He nodded miserably. Yes, my sunshine. I grinned wickedly. Good, because tonight we're eating roasted fish, in full brightness. The crowd cheered. Mama Pendo clapped. Pastor Oryem said, "Let there be light." Everyone laughed as the bulb finally shone brightly again. Okwonga looked at me and muttered, "Next time, I'll marry a quieter woman." I replied, "Next time, light will expose your lies faster." The laughter echoed into the night. But deep down, I still wondered, what exactly had I seen crawl across that table that first night? The mystery wasn't over yet. Subscribe for the third episode, You Not Believe We What Next.